Hey everyone, and welcome to Top Think. Today we're going to learn about why C students are more successful than A students. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Innovative thinking. Many of the most successful people didn't stand because of their fantastic grades or because of their prestigious degrees. They made a name for themselves by thinking differently, by pioneering an idea that brought something new to the table. This is one huge reason why C students are more successful than A students. They're more innovative thinkers. They may not excel at writing essays, taking notes during lectures, or memorizing information from a textbook, but that's because the average student doesn't always fit the cookie-cutter mold of what a smart person looks like. Instead, they're more creative and inventive. They learn to be clever in a way that school could never teach you. That's why innovative thinking is such an incredibly common trait among the top 1% of successful people. Some of them attended respected universities and earned expensive degrees, but for other successful people, school didn't really do much for them. To get where they are today, they used their creative problem-solving and their active imagination. Their innovative brain carried them to the top of the socio-economic food chain. So don't let anyone tell you that good grades are the only way to find success. The real secret has nothing to do with what letters are on your transcript. Number 2. Fearless risk takers. C students are not afraid to take risks. They're not intimidated by failure or worried about looking bad, because they don't expect everything to go perfectly. That's where many straight A students fall short. For over a decade, they've learned one thing: working hard will get you anything you want. If you do everything you're supposed to do, then success will always follow. But that's not how real life works. You can try your absolute hardest, you can pour your blood, sweat, and tears into a project, and it can still fail miserably. In fact, you might spend years failing at the same thing over and over again. But C students don't mind the ups and downs. While a great student might give up after their first rough patch, an average student knows what it means to struggle. They know how to persevere through hardship and bad luck. So when life knocks them down, C students are usually the first ones to get back up. Number 3. Resume dependent. Some of the best students let their grades define them. Instead of searching for their own passions, these students let their achievements replace their entire personality. It's almost like their whole life becomes one big resume, and everything they do to make themselves look better on paper. This resume-dependent mindset affects everything: their job, their friends, and even their lifestyle, because they're always thinking about how other people see them. Back in school, they were rewarded for being as impressive as possible. After graduation, whether they like it or not, that mentality will stick around. On the other hand, C students don't care as much about impressing the rest of the world. They're not worried about other people's expectations because no one was expecting as many amazing things from them. Their parents and teachers probably weren't telling them to go to Ivy League schools or that they're destined for lifelong success. So they learned how to satisfy themselves before anyone else. And in the long run, that's what every successful person should be doing. Number 4. Means to an end. In the mind of a straight A student, education may seem like the end-all be-all. It feels like an essential stepping stone toward your future. But many average students think school is just a means to an end. People like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of college for that exact reason. They realized that school wasn't automatically going to make them successful. In retrospect, they could have graduated, they could have handled the workload, but by spending more time in class or doing homework, they were holding themselves back. Yeah, I know it sounds weird to say, but school was a waste of their time. So they quit. Gates and Zuckerberg poured themselves into their passion projects, and they found success by having faith in their own ability. Many other average students and dropouts have followed in their footsteps, leaving school to pursue success on their own. They took that leap and left their education behind. They bet everything on themselves, and for many of them, it actually worked. Number 5. Following the rules. School is full of rules. Bells tell you when to eat, schedules tell you where to go, and teachers tell you what to learn. So it's no surprise that straight-A students are great at following the rules. In fact, they thrive in strict and disciplined environments. Above-average students do what they're told and rarely question authority, which can get them pretty far in life, but it can also slow them down. If you spend your whole life walking on the beaten path, then you'll never discover what's waiting for you out there in the wilderness. And that's exactly what average students do. They don't mind breaking the rules. They don't like being bossed around or trapped inside a box. Sometimes that makes these students rebellious and hard to control, but on your path towards success, that's a good thing. They're often some of the boldest and bravest achievers because they don't follow anyone's rules but their own. Number 6. Superiority complex. No one is entitled to success. It doesn't matter how long you work, how smart you are, or how much money you've invested. Success is something that you have to fight and earn for yourself. The problem is, many above-average students think success is just another part of their lives. You finish college, you get a graduate degree, and then you become incredibly successful. In their mind, it's that easy. But in reality, success is never so straightforward, which is why many of these A students don't know what to do next. Life doesn't turn out how they planned. Their future doesn't go the way that they expected, and that leaves them feeling angry and confused. Because deep down, many A students think that doing well in school means that you deserve something more, that getting good grades makes you more worthy of success. But that kind of ego is only going to get in your way. That's why C students are more likely to be successful than A students. They don't have that academic ego. They don't think they deserve success more than anybody, which helps them climb even higher. Number 7. Discovering purpose. Since average students aren't defined by their grades, they often find purpose in other ways. Many of the most artistic people throughout history have struggled in school because their aspirations didn't fit inside the classroom. Visionaries like Walt Disney, Charles Dickens, and Benjamin Franklin all dropped out of school at an early age, but each one still left behind a legacy that the world will never forget. The truth is, discovering your purpose is something you have to do alone. School can show you what's out there. It can give you a taste of what the world has to offer, but you need to dream those big dreams for yourself. If you aspire to create something special, it really doesn't matter what your test scores are. Number 8. Driven by hardship. If you are a middle-of-the-pack student, you know what it's like to watch others pass you by. You're no stranger to people lowering their expectations. Maybe someone told you that you're not good enough or smart enough to be successful. But that hardship only makes you stronger. It's another reason why C students are ultimately more successful than A students. Unlike above-average students who sit comfortably at the top, C students want to climb up that hierarchy. In other words, having a lower status pushes them to excel. It challenges them to surpass all the people who made them feel low or powerless. With a little self-control and a good work ethic, that can be an incredible source of motivation. Many successful people have launched their entire careers off the simple desire to prove people wrong. So don't fight it. Embrace that passion and ride it all the way to the top. Then everyone will know exactly how capable you really are. Number 9. Naturally stubborn. Average students tend to be a lot more stubborn. They're more independent. They'll act out on their own, and they'll give a greater effort to stand out from the crowd because they're ultimately too stubborn to compromise on anything. Whether it's a business idea or a small change to their style, C students believe it's my way or the highway. Sometimes a stubborn attitude can be destructive. In school and in the workplace, flexibility is a valuable skill, but more often than not, stubbornness will work to your advantage. Because being stubborn means you have a vision, you have a clear idea of what you want. You don't make sacrifices, and you don't take no for an answer. But most importantly, stubbornness keeps your eye on the prize, no matter how many people try to drag you down. On your path towards success, dozens of people will condemn you and tell you that you're a failure. And the only way to persevere through all that criticism is to be as stubborn as you can. Hey, thank you for watching Top Think, and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way.